Hello, viewers. Welcome to IT IQ Wiz. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to my videos so you'll see videos as soon as I do them. And today, I just want to continue from where I left off with my previous video where I cleared up a little misunderstanding between CPU and system unit. Right now, today I'm going to continue to from where I left off rather by introducing you to hardware components that are inside of the system unit, right? And I'm actually going to show you what the CPU actually looks like. I didn't get a chance to look at that in the last video. I showed you where it was if you check out the other video. Now, I'm gonna go about introducing all of what you're seeing here, and believe it or not, this is all the hardware that is included inside of your system unit. Right now, reason why I did this video is because I want to give somebody the chance to learn something about computers and what's included inside of it. We may not go into all the details of what the hardware does, but after all this, you get a basic understanding, and we're gonna actually troubleshoot some issues in future videos, and we're gonna assemble all the parts together, show you how everything is connected. It's gonna be exciting stuff, and you're gonna actually see how to actually build a computer. So just stay tuned to my channel as I go forward with videos. Now I'm just gonna continue with the clarity of a CPU. Now that fan I had placed, in my last video, that this CPU would be underneath the fan. Right now, as you can see from before, that I stripped down all the stuff from the computer that I had, and these are parts that were in there. Now the CPU would have been under the fan. I've already unbolted all these screws here and taken out the CPU. And maybe you could have identified the CPU on the board here already, but believe it or not, that big system unit would not be the CPU. This little thing over here, this little square thing here, this is actually a CPU. Believe it or not, that's the CPU. Okay, those are new models of CPU processors than the one we had way back in the days. The one in the day, they had little pins on the processor, built onto the processor, right? And then those little pins would fit into small holes on the motherboard. Nowadays, they reversed it. Now we just have some little metal contacts on the processor or the CPU, right? And then all the pins connect back to the motherboard. Yeah, all the pins on the motherboard here connects back to the points on the CPU. Now that CPU right there will actually be going underneath that little lock here that protects the CPU and keeps it in place, so that all those little contacts will make contact with the pins on the motherboard. Now there's a little dot here on the CPU, tells you how to actually place the CPU on the motherboard. Normally it is placed in a direction right about facing away from the lock, right? And there are also some little grooves on the processor, right, that you can use to guide yourself as to how to place it on the motherboard. You can't go wrong because there's only one way to place it. All right, so we're gonna put the CPU there. All right, and then we're gonna lock it over. So we're gonna pull this little metal part back so it gets locked under that little screw that you're seeing under the motherboard right there. So see that? Right. And then once we lock that with the lever, like that, then we would take the fan or has our heatsink and place it over the CPU. Now, what this fan does for the CPU is when the fan spins, it brings air through the little metal parts that you see on there. They're called heat sink, right? And once that once the air passes through the heat sink and keeps the heat sink to a certain temperature, it keeps the CPU cool. Now once it is placed on here and the fan spins, it sucks the air in just like you see and keeps the processor cool. Right, so we're gonna put it right there, and then we're gonna bolt those screws down. Now the next most important part of all of this is the memory, right? That little stick right there, that's the memory, the RAM, right? That's what we call RAM in the computer. Now this, the computer can't work without this, same way it cannot work without the CPU. Now, right, how we get this in, we place it, let's just push it over a little so you guys can see that a little better, and remove the fan so you can see a little more clearly. The memory would go here, right, or in that other one, but we got to pay attention to a little marker in the on the memory. All memory, depending on the type, they have a different setting. So as you can see, the marker is in two different places here, so we got to turn it around so we get it lined up in the same place, right? And then we put it in, right? And then we would press down on them until we hear a click, right? And we've installed our memory, right? Now that's the most important part for right now regarding the motherboard, the processor, and the fan. And other parts that are here, such as the CD drive and the hard drive, and also the power supply, right, which takes power to the hard drive, CD ROM, and the motherboard, right? Now in my other video, I'm going to show you how we assemble all of these parts together inside of the chassis, right? And the chassis is just the casing that holds all of these. It's a tower shell. I'm gonna show you how to assemble all of this, and then we're gonna boot up the computer, turn it on, and you're gonna see that it works. Catch us in the next video and see how it goes. Remember guys, like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and share the video with somebody who maybe want to learn something about computers, know how to fix computers. My future videos are going to lead right up to that. You can learn so much from here. Thank you guys again for watching.